Hello and welcome back. Dr. Reese again with yet another brief presentation derived from our recently published book entitled Our Shared Illusions, available at Amazon, Kindle, and as well as in hardback as you see here. Really softback, but you can get it in print as well as electronically. In chapter 6 of our book, we wrestle with the impact of biology on the political scene. Now, this seems somewhat reductive, but I think it's equally reductionist if we abstract from our own biological brain-derived susceptibilities and view politics rather in abstract terms of win, lose, conservative, progressive, etc. There are deeper biological issues here in play, as this brief talk, I think, will try to persuade you. The title of this presentation has to do with charisma. Charisma is this mysterious quality that allows political leaders, for example, to tap into the minds and persuade a large number of people to follow their view of the world and follow their prescription as to what to do about issues in the world. Charisma has not really been ever explained sufficiently, at least to my mind. Here we propose a possible solution to the charisma riddle. We believe that, at least in part, charisma has to do with the ability of the leader to synchronize his followers' brain activities with his own brain activity, literally, as studied by EEG, for example, or some kind of brain imaging study which can correlate brain activities between individuals. This has recently become possible by remotely linking different imaging apparatuses in different cities, thereby linking different people together and directly comparing their response to, for example, advertising items, and determining which is the more effective way of persuading you by decoding predictors derived from your brain activity as to whether you prefer Coke or Pepsi, for example. More seriously, recent studies, as we explain in chapter 6 of our book, show that those among us who are afraid of uncertainty respond with anxiety and negativity to uncertainty in the environment and in their lives, are particularly susceptible to certain influences. It has been shown that we can identify folks that respond to uncertainty in this way by exposing them to certain stimuli, such as video clips from CNN, the BBC, from conservative outlets, and compare their reaction in brain imaging. And as it turns out, people who score high on negative reaction to uncertainty have a great deal of symmetry and similarity in their brain activity in response to certain stimuli. So there seems to be a biological substrate that you can elicit in the brain that underlies the trait of response to uncertainty with anxiety and perhaps with a wish to be rescued by a powerful leader. So brain synchrony then, what does it mean? Well, it's been shown in animal experiments that brain synchrony increases what's called affiliative behavior. With a technique called optogenetics, you can drive the brains of mice to be more synchronous with each other in an experimental setting and show that this increased synchrony driven by optogenetic techniques will increase affiliative behavior in rodents. They like to hang out together. They like each other better. Perhaps go out for a beer, as it's often been postulated as an important political criterion for selecting a president. So, how about charisma? Well, a recent study has shown that effective leaders are more efficient in eliciting synchronous brain activity in their followers in response to communication than in those who are not interested in them. In fact, followers emerge literally from the sea of their audience in the synchronized activity of a subset of their audience. If you put these pieces together, you might postulate that some of the surprising recent events in our politics may in fact have an underlying biological basis or at least partial determinant. We live in uncertain times. As we have pointed out elsewhere in the book, a large segment of our population has not seen a meaningful income increase in 4 decades or longer. There are those who have been left behind, who are particularly susceptible to not going to college, getting addicted to opiate drugs, having short life expectancy, dying of overdoses, etc. So it appears then that a large segment of the population is likely to be more adverse to uncertainty and anxiety than perhaps those who are better off in socioeconomic terms. So one of the strategies of a leader then could be to accentuate uncertainty, to enhance the language of uncertainty, as has been done in recent election by telling Americans that they live in a terrible country, that it's going downhill, that there's crime in the streets, and so on and so forth, increasing the level of anxiety and therefore triggering the innate responses of a large subset of our population in response to this anxiety-provoking language, which then the candidate can tap into and attempt to synchronize with this population by language and other means of communication, eliciting a strong affiliative response, thereby increasing the apparent charisma that they exert at least on a significant portion of the population. Again, it seems reductionistic, but likewise, it seems foolhardy to not take these considerations into account when attempting to understand how we got here and what are the underlying dynamics in this process. This brief presentation cannot do justice to the extent to which we discuss these items in our book called Our Shared Illusions, available on Kindle for 2 cups of Starbucks coffee or as a print issue as well. So please check it out and let me know what you think. Please also visit our website, invisibleglitch@substack.com, to look for further information and further talks. Thanks for your attention.